Hi folks, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. So I'm on this hazelnut kick and I just can't stop using this beautiful bottle of Frangelico here. So next thing up on the menu is going to be some hazelnut chocolate candy bars. Alright, so I'm going to start with, let's see. We're going to start, okay, this is for the next setup. We're going to, sorry, I was getting ahead of myself. Okay, so we're going to start with some sugar and some butter in the mixer bowl. Okay, we're going to do 1 cup of granulated sugar. Okay. And then 2 sticks of butter. Now I did soften this, so it's nice and it's not super warm and gushy, but it's definitely not firm to the touch. See, I can squeeze it like that, no problem. Okay, so there's 2 of those. We're going to put that on our mixer stand, use the paddle, and I'm going to just give this a spin. You want to mix it kind of low. You don't want to do it too fast. Okay, so basically we're making a crust. This is the first layer. Once that sugar gets incorporated into the butter, I'll add some flour. Okay. Actually, first off, we want to get everything down into the bottom of the bowl. Use my little spatula here. Give it a scrape. We want to make sure that everything is smooth and consistent, of course. And there we go. Give it a little fluff. Oh yeah. This is something you want to let it fluff a little bit. Okay. Now, I do like to add a little bit of vanilla to this. So, I'm going to use this beautiful Mexican vanilla here. It is very, very potent, so I'm only going to use a teeny weeny little bit. Alright. Okay. Now I'm going to want to add 2 cups of all-purpose flour to this once I've got this nice and fluffed. Okay, so, and I don't even need to stop the mixer. Okay, there's 1. And there's 2. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to mix that smooth, and then we're going to actually let it get nice and tight. So, if you watch here, you can hear that mixer starting to work a little bit. Turn it up a little bit. Okay, before it all comes together, I'm going to lift it. I'm going to give it a scrape. I don't want to stress my mixer. Okay, that's good. Get everything into one nice lump. Okay, now it's in one clump, okay? I want to kind of cream it just a touch, not too much, just a little bit. And that's about good right there. So now, okay, get off the mixer. what I want to do is get it down to one ball. Okay. Now, before I turn that out, I'm going to go ahead and grease my pan. What I have is a 12 by 18. Okay. Now, what I would recommend is that you folks get yourself some 9 by 13s, 2 of them, and use this recipe for 2 pans. Okay. Or cut my recipe in half if you've got one 9 by 13 pan. Okay. So, anyway, I'm going to spray this, give it a nice, generous spray, making sure to get the corners. And especially from the center all the way out. Okay? Now, notice this is a perfectly level pan. You don't want to be using a wobbly, tipsy pan. Okay? If you've got a pan that's all bent, you want to get yourself a new one because the bent pan is no good for this project. All right? So, anyway, here we go. We're going to take all this dough, which is basically like a stiff cookie dough. And we're going to turn it out. Okay. Notice it's all in one big clump. Okay. You don't want to take a bunch of pieces and put them all over and then squish them together. You want to start with one big giant clump in the center and then press that out across the whole thing. Okay, and what you want to avoid is having it crack to where you have to bring it back. Okay, you want to keep it as one big piece and just gently work it ever so slightly out to the edges of the pan. Okay, now I'm going to use the heel of my hand to do such a thing because it's the most natural. All right, so what I'm going to do here is basically just start pressing. Okay, spin it around, press a little more. I'm pressing toward myself. Okay, it's very easy when you're, doing it toward yourself. See what's in front of you. Okay, and see how I'm just moving it around. Not letting it get too thin in any one spot. Okay, and I'm just working the thick spots into where, there is none. Or to where it needs to be, a thin spot that needs to be thicker. See, so I'm pretty thick over here. I need to work it out this way. Bring this down. I don't necessarily need to go all the way to the edge at any one given time. So I'm trying to keep it even. And the edge, it's very easy to just hit the edge at the end. Okay. And basically, it's a touch. You want to feel it. If you go all the way through to the pan, then you're obviously too thin. And if it feels like you got a big chunk, then you're obviously too thick. Nice and gentle, little by little. You got to be patient with it. There we go. See how easy that is? Oh yeah, very nice. Oh yeah, that's very nice. Now, if you don't mix it enough, your dough, and what you end up with is a very stiff dough to be, pressing out. It's a lot more work and it's harder to do. So there's a fine line on your creaming process, but you don't want to mix so much air into it that it all just bubbles up. Okay, so you want to basically smooth it out and then be done with it. All right, here we go. Now, look at that. Okay, can you believe that little bit of dough covered this whole thing?
That's wild.
Yeah. Okay, so now we want to just leave this be. Okay, and then I'm going to put this in the oven. I'm going to bake it for not long, only about 8 to 10 minutes. Okay, I'm going to give it just a little bit of a shell Okay, basically, I'm going to make it so that okay, if I were basically grilling on the grill, I would basically be searing a piece of meat. Okay, we want to sear this so that then we can pour caramel on it and bake a layer of caramel without the caramel intermingling with the crust. Okay, so we want to make that barrier by baking the crust. All right, so give us a few minutes and, well, it'll be a few minutes on our part. It'll be just a flash for you. So stay tuned, and we'll be back with a golden brown shell.